Hi everyone, I'm Grace. I'm a PM on the Azure Files and File Sync team, and today we're going to talk about how you can go from on-prem to the cloud with Azure File Sync. So the agenda today is I'll do a quick introduction of Azure Files and Azure File Sync, why customers migrate their shares to the cloud, some of the benefits of Azure Files and Azure File Sync, a deep dive into the three-step seamless migration, what's new, and a quick demo on how everything works in practice. So Azure Files is a fully managed scalable cloud file sharing solution supporting SMB and NFS protocols. It's designed to deliver robust performance, security, and simplicity. Unlike traditional file servers, Azure Files eliminates the need for managing infrastructure such as virtual machines or NAS appliances. Your user and application can seamlessly access files stored in Azure, both on-prem environments and cloud applications, making it an ideal platform for modern file storage needs. And now I want to give an overview of Azure File Sync. It's a great differentiator and makes Azure Files stand out from the competition. So Azure File Sync is an agent that customers can install on their local on-prem file servers. It enables them to take advantage of their on-prem servers while centralizing their shares in cloud. Azure File Sync agent gives customers hybrid file shares. And with Azure File Sync, we unlock a variety of interesting features for our customers, which include multi-site sync. And this is if a customer has a file share across different locations, like a main office and a branch office. They can still access the files. The next feature is cloud tiering. So they can save space on local server and only store the hot files on the local server while the cool files are automatically moved to the cloud share. The next one is cloud backup. Not only is all your cool data moved to a cloud share, but it's backed up automatically with policies you choose. And last but not least, disaster recovery can become as simple as replacing an existing server with a brand new server instance, saving time for customers. And organizations typically migrate file shares to the cloud for four main reasons. The very first one can be rapid data growth, which makes it challenging to keep adding hardware and scaling on-prem. The second reason might be improving data protection, which is critical, and cloud solutions offer built-in redundancy and consistent backup. Third, maybe aging hardware often means high maintenance costs and potential downtime risk. And last, many businesses are moving toward complete data center migrations, with file storage often being one of the final components. Azure Files addresses all these needs by providing immediate scale, reliable protection, and hardware-free infrastructure, and also an easy migration path. With the introduction of Windows Server 2025, customers have even greater opportunity to leverage the capabilities provided by Azure Files and Azure File Sync. These solutions don't just support cloud migration, they transform how you manage, scale, and protect your storage infrastructure. Azure Files is built specifically for the cloud, delivering robust, high-performance file sharing platform that supports both SMB and NFS protocols. Unlike traditional file servers that depend on hardware or virtual machines, Azure Files removes the complexity of managing infrastructure while offering enterprise-grade security and scalability. Whether your workloads run on-prem or in Azure, Azure Files ensures broad compatibility, seamless integration, and consistent experience across environments. So Azure Files is a fully managed PaaS offering, which means Microsoft handles all the patching, maintenance, and system updates. This removes the burden of routine operations from IT teams, freeing them to focus on strategic priorities. Azure Files integrates with Azure Monitor for centralized observability and with Azure Backup for simplified data protection. Azure Files Provision v2 offers precise control over storage performance, allowing you to configure IOPS, throughput, and capacity based on workload needs. This model provides cost predictability by avoiding per operation charges common in pay-as-you-go models, And Azure File Sync enhances this further with cloud tiering, a feature that reduces local storage costs by keeping only frequently accessed files on-prem while offloading infrequently accessed files content to Azure. The namespace remains locally accessible and files are recalled on demand, reducing hardware needs without sacrificing user experience. Azure File Sync enables phased, low-risk migration by syncing existing on-prem servers directly with Azure Files. This hybrid model supports transparent cutover with no user disruption or re-architecting of existing apps. It's ideal path for organizations upgrading to Windows Server 2025 who want to modernize at their own pace without downtime. And through native integration with Azure Backup, Azure Files provides built-in data protection and recovery. Vaulted Backup adds an extra layer of resilience by securing backups in isolated storage, ensuring recoverability in the face of accidental deletion or disaster events. And this gives you reliable, policy-driven protection for business-critical data. So how easy is it actually to migrate to Azure Files with Azure File Sync? And this setup is the initial synchronization with no immediate change for users. The second step is Azure File Sync works in the background, automatically synchronizing your data to Azure. Users continue working uninterruptedly while all changes sync seamlessly. And the last step, once synchronization is complete, you decide how to move forward, either maintaining a hybrid setup for optimal performance or fully migrating to the cloud and decommissioning your on-prem server. And this migration process minimizes risk, downtime, and complexity, making your transition to the cloud smooth and easy. Now let's talk specifically about what's new with Azure File Sync and how it can provide value for Windows Server 2025. With this latest release, we've introduced several important enhancements and designed to make hybrid management faster, simpler, and more secure than ever before. First, Azure File Sync supports Windows Server 2025, which has improved security, performance, and manageability. The Azure File Sync extension for Windows Admin Center now supports Windows Server from Windows Server 2025 down to Windows Server 2012 R2. This makes Azure File Sync suitable for a wide range of organizations, regardless of their current server version. Azure File Sync facilitates the modernization of file servers, allowing organizations to seamlessly transition to newer servers running Windows 2025. The integration with Windows Admin Center provides centralized management, offering a unified interface for managing configurations across multiple file sync servers. This integration simplifies the management process, reducing complexity and saving time. With this configuration, business can utilize Windows Server as a fast cache for their Azure file share and optimally implement cloud tiering for more efficient data management. Next, we've significantly boosted sync performance. Compared to 2 years ago, we've improved sync throughput by 10 times and about 20 items per second to over 200 items per second today. This major increase means files migration, metadata-only changes, and regular sync operations now complete dramatically faster, saving significant time and ensuring smoother operations for your team. We've also improved disaster recovery capabilities. Server provisioning and recovery operations now complete up to 7 times faster. If an on-prem file server fails or requires replacement, you can rapidly deploy a new server and quickly restore file access without prolonged downtime. Security has also gotten a major upgrade as well. Azure File Sync now supports managed identity, meaning you no longer have to handle or store sensitive storage account keys manually. Instead, authentication seamlessly integrates with Microsoft Entra ID, improving security while reducing complexity. Managed Identity also optimizes local storage by turning your server into efficient caches. The full copy of your data is secured, centralized in Azure, freeing up your valuable local resources. These enhancements make Azure File Sync for Windows Server 2025 even more powerful and streamlined solution for modernizing your file storage, securing your data, and managing your hybrid infrastructure efficiently. Now, I want to talk a bit about our File Sync agent expiration. So Azure File Sync is a cloud service which continuously introduces new features and improvements. This means that specific Azure File Sync agent versions can only be supported for a limited time. This can be avoided if you set your agent to auto update, and your agent will automatically update when there is a new file sync agent available. Now, as I mentioned, sync agent versions can only be supported for a limited time. So now I'd like to talk a little about Windows Server 2012 R2. Some of you may know and some may not, but Windows Server 2012 R2 reached end of support October 10th, 2023. Azure File Sync will stop supporting since our V17 agent will expire May 6, 2025. After this date, we will no longer provide bug fixes, security updates, or technical support. Although official support for Windows Server 2012 and the Azure File Sync V17 agent will end May 6, 2025, the V17 agent will continue to function until January 27, 2026. After this date, servers with the V17 agent will stop syncing to the Azure file share, so you will have two options. The very first option will be to perform an in-place upgrade to a supported operating system. Once the in-place upgrade completes, you can uninstall the file sync agent for Windows Server 2012, restart the server, then install the agent for the new server. The second option would be to deploy a file sync server that's running a supported operating system to replace your Windows 2012 R2 server. I am going to show a demo regarding the second option. So let's say you have a cache server and that's running a Windows Server 2012 and it's already part of a sync group. And now imagine that server needs to be replaced, and this Azure File Sync is no longer going to be supporting Windows Server 2012 R2. Or maybe your hardware has failed and you want to just upgrade your server to 2025. What you can do is quickly replace that server by spinning up a new server and letting Azure File Sync do the work. So now I will be demoing that. So here we're in Azure portal. And as you can see right here, I have a Windows Server 2016 since Windows Server 2012 R2 is no longer supported. The server name is a bit confusing, but the operating system is a Windows Server 2016. So from here, the server is currently registered and syncing with my file share in Azure. So here's my file share, and as you can see, here are the files that are currently being synced from my 2016 server to Azure. And now we're going to have to replace this, so we're going to spin up a new server. So here we're creating a resource, creating a new server, and you can go through the process, but to be respectful of your time, I've already created a Windows Server 2025 that I will be registering my agent to. So the easiest method is you can go to aka.ms/afs/agent to download the latest agent. However, customers can also go to the Windows Admin Center to download and install the agent using Windows Admin Center for multiple servers. Now here, I'll select the agent for the correct operating system, which since I have a 2025, I'll be downloading the 2025 agent. So now I'm going through the setup wizard. And once you finish, the agent install will try to see if there are any updates required. So since I downloaded the latest agent, I'm already up to date. And now is the server registration process. I'm going to sign in to Azure. And now choose my subscription, resource group, and my sync service. And once the registration is successful, I will go ahead and close this out. And I will head back into the portal. Now in the portal, this is already my Windows Server 2016 that has been syncing. I'm going to go ahead and add a new, well, I'll go back and check to make sure my 2025 server has registered. And you can see below my 2016, my 2025 is registered. And then now I'm going to go into my sync group and add the server endpoint and register the server to the server endpoint. Here you can choose to disable or enable cloud tiering. And your initial download as well. Awesome. So now the server endpoint is creating. And once the server is registered to the server endpoint, the sync agent will pull down the metadata and start caching files from the cloud. Okay, so now that it is added, we're going to wait a bit. And as you can see, with the file path, it's currently provisioning. And we also get an alert saying that it has created successfully. Now, it does sync, the server will sync the files to the new server right away. However, it may not show on the portal. But once it is complete, it will show on the portal with a check mark that it is completed. So here's my 2016 server, and here's my new server. As you can see, this is the file path, and both of them have the files that they have. Here's my file share, and here's the new server with all the files that were on the previous server as well. So at this point, you have a choice. You can delete the endpoint, and it'll stop syncing. And then you can go back to your registered servers, and you can also remove the server as well. And that is up to you. Once that is done, you are complete with replacing the server. So here are some resources about Azure File Sync, and migrating to Azure Files from on-prem, and also how to use managed identities with Azure File Sync. And thank you. For any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to Azure Files PM at Microsoft.com.